The Curse of King Midas. Let's start with one of the most famous stories about be careful what you wish for, King Midas. Picture this. He was already absurdly rich, gold in even the smallest details, gleaming palaces, overflowing chests, jeweled glasses, everything imaginable. But that wasn't enough for him. When Dionysus granted him a wish as a reward, Midas did not choose peace, intelligence, or even an endless supply of wine, which modestly would have been a much wiser choice. No, he wanted everything he touched to turn into pure gold. The first few days were incredible. You pick up a branch, bam, instant gold bar. You shake hands, your friend is now a golden sculpture. You brush against a flower, now you have an eternal metal ornament. But then came the sinister side. When he tried to eat, the food hardened into gold between his fingers. Water turned into liquid metal that was impossible to drink. Survival became unfeasible. And the most devastating moment was when his daughter threw herself into his arms and was petrified into a breathless golden figure. There he realized that his greed had robbed him of the only thing that really mattered. In certain versions, Midas begged Dionysus to revoke the gift, and the god told him to bathe in the river Pactolus to cleanse himself. Since then, that river has supposedly carried particles of gold in its sand. The curse of Midas is the classic example of how greed turns against oneself. Unlimited wealth? Go ahead, but be prepared to starve surrounded by useless luxuries. It is one of those myths in which the gods need not intervene further. Desire itself takes care of the punishment. We still remember it today when the obsession with money destroys the joy of living. In truth, Midas would have been better off asking for an eternal banquet. Cassandra's curse. Let's now move on to Troy and one of the most ruthless curses that exist. Cassandra. Imagine having the ability to foresee the future with total accuracy. You know every detail of what is to come and could prevent deaths, wars, catastrophes, and deceit. It seems like an incredible gift, doesn't it? The problem? No one, absolutely no one will ever believe you. That was Cassandra's curse. A Trojan princess, Apollo fell madly in love with her. He gave her the gift of prophecy in a desperate attempt to win her over. When she rejected him, Apollo couldn't take the power away, so he ruined her completely. Every prediction she made came to the letter, but everyone ignored her. She warned them not to accept the wooden horse. They mocked her. She predicted the destruction of Troy, the murder of Agamemnon, and even her own demise. They branded her insane. Imagine the mental torment, always being right, yet your words carry no weight. It's like shouting fire in a crowded theater while people go about their lives. Finally, Cassandra was captured as spoils of war and killed. Her visions useless, her gift turned into constant torture. Worse than failing, when you fail, at least you can blame chance. She suffered knowing the absolute truth without being able to change anything. A punishment so inhumane that thousands of years later, it still sends shivers down our spines.
The Curse of the Flying Dutchman. Let us leave Troy in ruins and set sail on stormy oceans. The legend of the Flying Dutchman is the eternal curse of sailors. Tradition has it that a Dutch captain wanted to round the Cape of Good Hope, one of the most treacherous passages on the planet. Storms stopped him, but he did not back down. He challenged the heavens, shouting that he would sail until the end of time if necessary. The higher powers, gods, fate, or perhaps something darker, took him at his word. His punishment? To sail the seas forever. No land, no rest, no provisions, no port. Only endless waves and storms. The ship became spectral, with a cursed crew condemned to wander forever. Sailors trembled when they spotted it in the distance, for it was an omen of disaster. The sea, in essence, warning, it's your turn. Centuries later, luminous ships were still reported emerging from the mist and evaporating. The Flying Dutchman is not merely a nautical horror story, it is a warning against arrogance. The captain provoked nature and the divine, and now he circles endlessly. Think of the crew centuries later. Did anyone bring provisions? Nothing. Only more storms and endless tedium. That is why it endures. There is nothing more terrifying than a punishment with no end and no escape. The Curse of Oedipus. If you think your family tree is tangled, wait until you hear the story of Oedipus. His curse defines destiny always catches up to you, no matter how fast you run.
The oracle warned his parents, Laius and Jocasta, kings of Thebes, that their newborn son would murder his father and marry his mother. What a scenario! They tried to cheat fate by exposing the baby on a mountain to die, but he was saved and raised by another royal couple. Years later, Oedipus heard a similar prophecy, and to protect those he believed to be his parents, he left. A noble effort, except that fate cannot be fooled. On a road, he fought with an older stranger and killed him. It was Laius, his real father. Then he freed Thebes from the Sphinx, winning the throne and the hand of the Queen Dowager. Yes, that queen was Jocasta, his mother. The circle was complete. Upon discovering this, she committed suicide, and he gouged out his eyes in sheer horror. Lesson: don't try to outrun destiny. It always gets there first. The curse of Oedipus is so iconic that it inspired the psychological term Oedipus complex. But leaving Freud aside, the original myth is Greek tragedy in its purest form.
The Curse of the Pharaohs. Are you familiar with the famous Curse of the Mummies? It comes directly from Egyptian beliefs and archaeological rumors. For centuries, local people knew that desecrating royal tombs brought misfortune, illness, or death. The ancient Egyptians inscribed clear threats: death will swiftly fall upon anyone who disturbs the pharaoh's rest. It was not a discreet sign. The myth exploded in the 1920s with Howard Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. Shortly thereafter, several people involved died in strange circumstances. Lord Carnarvon, who financed the expedition, succumbed to a mosquito bite infection, and the press went wild with talk of the pharaoh's revenge. Although most of the team lived to a ripe old age, the sinister coincidences fueled the legend. It works because it appeals to deep fears: greed, mortality, and desecration. Whether real or not, the image of ancient monarchs punishing from beyond the grave is irresistible. The Curse of the Atreides. If Greek mythology were a TV series, the House of Atreus would be the darkest and most violent drama imaginable. This was no ordinary dispute. An entire lineage was sentenced to a devastating curse. It began with Pelops, father of Atreus, who won a chariot race by cheating and then murdering his rival to cover it up. The dying man cast a curse on Pelops and his entire bloodline, and it was more than fulfilled. Atreus fought for the throne with his brother Thyestes. For ultimate revenge, he invited him to a feast and served him a stew made from the bodies of his own children. He literally fed him his offspring. This trapped the family in an endless spiral of horror and betrayal. Centuries later, Agamemnon sacrificed his daughter to secure favorable wins in the Trojan War. Upon his return, Clytemnestra killed him in the bath. Later, their son Orestes murdered his mother in revenge, and the Furies pursued him relentlessly. The pain was endless. The Curse of the Atreides teaches us that one atrocity can contaminate generations to come. The Curse of Medusa. Everyone identifies Medusa as the woman with snakes in her hair, whose gaze turns people to stone. Medusa was not born a monster. She was a beautiful mortal and priestess of Athena. She unwittingly attracted Poseidon, who raped her inside the sacred temple. Athena, instead of punishing the god, unleashed her wrath on the victim. She turned her into a feared creature: hair of vipers, eyes that turn to stone, a face that forces exile. No one could look at her without turning to stone, so friendship was impossible. She was relegated to the ends of the earth until Perseus beheaded her, using a shield as a mirror. Even in death, her power endured. Her head was placed on Athena's shield. Imagine a punishment so absolute that even your lifeless body remains a weapon. The Curse of Pandora's Box. Pandora, the first woman, according to the Greeks, was created by Zeus in retaliation for Prometheus' theft of fire. The gods gave her a mysterious container, originally a jug, later mistakenly called a box, with strict orders not to open it. As expected, she opened it. When she opened it,
All the evils that torment the world escaped: disease, greed, suffering, envy, and pain. When she finally closed it, only one thing remained inside: hope. Pandora's curse explains why human existence is so hard, but also why we persist. It is the classic story of don't touch what is forbidden, as disturbing as it is familiar. This is the end of this myth. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.